Hey everybody, it's TFNet. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Marvel Legends series, part of the Venom series and Venompool series Carnage figure. I got extremely lucky. I was out shopping, just grabbing some things at Walmart, and found this guy. I did not find the rest of the series though. I don't know if someone bought them all or if this is the only one they put out, but this entire series, it was originally slated for, October, November, but a lot of people actually getting this lately. So yeah, I have the rest of them pre-ordered on Big Bad Toy Store, so I'm gonna wait for those. If I see them out in the wild, I'll get them. But I'm very glad to have at least one of these figures to see just how well this whole wave is gonna stack up when it comes to the figures themselves. The Build-A-Figure is also really cool looking. So let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging. As you can see from the top of the packaging here, the top half here, you have the figure in the box as well as the accessories that it comes with. Now, as you can see there is some paint missing on the teeth for the Venompool head, which is kind of annoying. Eventually, I might have to figure something out with that. Towards the bottom here, it just says Marvel and Venom. It has Carnage there. It has the Hasbro logo. When we look on the top of the packaging, it just has a Venom logo there of that type of spider logo. It also says Venompool for the Build-A-Figure. The warnings, ages 4 and up. On one side here, which is actually reflected on both sides, it is the Carnage image there, and I really like the white backdrop there that they have for the figure. It really makes the characters pop out in the art, and this is what the other side of that packaging looks like with the image there. Again, it's reflected. On the back, you could see the figure right there, and then you have multilingual read-ups if you want to pause and read that right now. And then we will look towards the bottom here. It's all the rest of the figures that come with the Venompool figure, Build-A-Figure pieces. For some reason, the movie Venom is not shown here, even though he doesn't come with a Build-A-Figure piece, so I don't really know why, but we're getting that figure too. And then towards the bottom here, you can see the barcode. You can pause if you need that barcode to go look for this. So let's go ahead and take this out of the packaging. So here's the figure out of the packaging, and it is a really awesome figure. There's not much to dislike about this besides the defect with the Build-A-Figure piece. So let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories that it comes with, then we'll take a closer look at the figure. So this new Carnage may not come with the symbiote weapons with hands that we have with the previous Carnage or a Cletus Cassidy head, but we do have this cool Venompool head, which I like to talk about, the detail of a Build-A-Figure once the actual, figure is built. But you can see that we do have some issues with the paint right there, which is a little disappointing. But this thing looks awesome. I believe this is sculpted by May Shelf, who did the movie Cable and movie Deadpool. This is also just a really cool looking head. This is the Absolute Carnage head, which has really nice sculpting where the white is right there. So this is actually sculpted. There's a little spiral here. The eyes are nicely painted on there. I really like what we have going on with the teeth as well. There's a little bit of red going through where the dark is supposed to be, but that's fine. At least with the teeth right here. They did a really good job with the black shading from the back of the head to the front here. It's really good. And whenever there's a black line here, there is actual sculpted lines. So they painted over the sculpted lines with black, and it just looks really awesome. So that's the head he comes packaged with. And then we have this alternate head. This is the more regular Carnage head. And then we have there's a couple of specks in there, which is a little annoying. But the teeth are really clean. There's, again, some lines sculpted in here, wherever there's black. These eyes also have sculpting around there. So these look really clean. And then we have this backpack piece here, which is supposed to be some tendrils. Eventually, I wish they would give us some bendy wires in the tendrils. These things aren't super heavy, so they really won't, be back heavy. Plugs into the back pretty easily. And they're just a soft plastic with really nice sculpting going on here. Simply just line up the backpack like so, and it fits on there really well, and it fits with the rest of the figure extremely well. So I'm going to give you a quick 360 look at the Carnage here. This is really, really well done. I'm really digging it a lot. They did a lot of great stuff going on here. I have the normal Carnage head on here just because I want to show off the normal Carnage when I'm doing the details. Now this figure gives me vibes of the old Spider-Man Classics Carnage that was originally with Toy Biz, and then they remade it into Hasbro stuff. That figure is a little outdated. It was still really good with some nice details. Again, it's mostly because of how these lines are actually sculpted. It really brings me back to that, and I really dig this a lot. So I've already talked about this head, but lots of great muscles. There's lots of stretching in the body, almost like it's muscle fibers. I dig that a lot. It's kind of hard to see because the black lines get in the way, but pretty much wherever there's a black line, I think there might also be some sculpting here. I think some of the black lines might just be painted on there. If all of these are sculpted on here, that's very impressive. But anywhere where there's black lines, that is a sculpted area. So it's sculpted in red, then they paint over the red lines that are protruding with black. And there are some times where it's not perfect. You can definitely, if you look hard enough, you could see that some of the black lines aren't really on the red. Some of them are off of the lines. But you know what? I think it's mostly fine because it's not very noticeable. So that's, yeah. It really, I'm looking. I think there's a little bit of red coming off right there if you'd see in this forearm. On the hand, actually. Well, not the forearm, but it's just it's if there are some imperfections where there's not black lines on the red, it's fine because it's molded in red, so you're not really gonna notice. These details are just so good, and again, the red is coming off really nicely. I really like the color that they chose with the plastic. It just pops out really well. It all contrasts together pretty well, if I'm even using that term correctly. We do have these softer tendril pieces here. Sometimes these bother me, but they don't get in the way of articulation. But so these are fine, honestly. And these are a softer plastic. They're either sculpted in here or glued in here. They're most likely glued. I think these hands, I'll bring out a comparison of the previous Carnage in a little bit. These hands have additional sculpted details of the black lines on there, but I think they might be the same as the previous hands. We go down towards the lower part of the legs. Again, they have a lot of nice black lines going on here, but we do have some actual muscles that are sculpted into the mold. I want to say, I don't think this is reused. I've been looking through the rest of my figures, and I don't think we've gotten this body mold yet. If we have, it most likely is similar to the Spider UK figure, but that doesn't have butterfly joints. It's not the Spider-Man 2099 body, because up in some of the areas like the waist and the chest, it's a little bit wider. So I don't know if they reuse this body again without the additional lines. And maybe not the muscles the way that they're stretched out, I would be fine with that. One thing I do want to point out is that we actually do have some sculpting going on in the joint there. They do have some lines that are kind of like muscles sculpted there. Now, it's not that... Is it actually in there? It's not as easy to see in here. I'm pretty sure they are. On the back of the legs, though, you could definitely tell they have some muscles sculpted in there. So I really dig that a lot. We have more of these softer plastic pieces of tendrils, if that's even what they're called. Right here, there's a little bit of black splotching going on here. To me, that's fine. It looks a little messy, but if it was something like, green or purple on here, getting in the way, then I would be upset. But it's all the same color, so I think it's fine. This is what the top of the feet look like with the toes. These are really nicely pointed toes. I dig that a lot. That's what the side of the feet look like. They even have some additional sculpted details. Again, with the black lines. These are just so awesome, seriously. That's what the bottom of the feet look like. We do have peg holes, so that's cool. Got the nice Carnage butt. We do have a peg hole in the back. I already showed off the backpack. I'll show it again. I'm going to be doing images, so don't worry. You'll get to see this backpack on this guy, but that's what that looks like, and I think that's pretty cool. So for articulation, it's pretty basic for Marvel Legends. The head can go up and down. The waist it's not super loose, but it kind of just wants to move whenever I'm doing the head, We do have a side to side here. It can pivot a little bit because of the space going on there in the head. The backward for the butterfly joint is pretty good, but the forward, I think because the lines sculpted in here, they might get in the way. We do have arms that go in and out all the way around. These are kind of ratchety. they're not super smooth, but it still works. Upper arm swivel, we do get the double jointed elbows. Swivel at the wrist, hinge at the wrist, that goes in and out. This is for both hands. Ab crunch, which that's how far it goes back, and there's still details in there. That's how far forward it goes, and there's even some more of the muscles that are still sculpted in there, which is awesome. Waist twist, leg can go forward, which is a little loose on this leg. The hip's a little loose, but that's fine. It still keeps it posed. In and out like this. Upper thigh swivel, double jointed knees, calf rotation, which can look a little choppy in the sculpt. Up and down at the foot. The down's pretty good. The up could be a little bit better, but it's not horrible. And there's some kind of ratchet going on here. I don't know how they sculpted this, but some kind of ratchet here with the feet, if you can hear this. Yeah, so that's kind of worrisome. I feel like that will eventually break, but I think it's fine for now. So yeah, that's pretty basic articulation. Also, I forgot to mention they have the serial printing on here, which I'm not a big fan of, because if I wanted to wash this off with acetone, you might get on the black lines here, so that's not great. But overall, awesome articulation. So to do a quick comparison with the new Carnage and the previous Carnage, the differences are pretty easy to see, even though, you know, they're pretty much the same colors. Definitely differences in the head sculpts and the body molds. This is the Bucky Cat mold. This is a new sculpt here. These lines, you can tell are just painted on here, whereas these, you can actually see the details from the sculpted lines. The tendrils look a little bit smoother on these than these. Usually I don't like when they're like super long like this with these tendrils. These I think are the right length on this guy. And then, yeah, down to the legs again. More details going on here than here. So, you know, previous Carnage, when it comes to 2014 and 2018 versions, they're not bad. They really aren't. I think they were good for the time being. But I just, having this in hand, I didn't know I needed a figure like this. And I'm so glad that they, you know, made what I think is their best Carnage yet. It's really good. I do believe, after looking, the hands are exactly the same, but we do have additional details sculpted in the new one. So that's really all I can see. But yeah, I mean, a little bit of reuse, not that much though. It's just really, really awesome. Again, great figure. This to me just, you know, steps it up. So for size comparisons, on the left we have the Absorbing Man series Venom, and on the right we have that previous Carnage that I was showing off earlier. You can see that the old Carnage is actually a little bit taller than the new one. You can just see how tall that Venom is compared to both of them. And then we have the retro Spider-Man on the left with the Monster Venom figure there on the right. You can see just how big he is compared to both of them. And then we have the Spider-Man Noir on the left with Bullseye on the right. And then last but not least, we have the Marvel Legends Stan Lee on the left and the movie Deadpool Marvel Legends figure on the right. So to end this review, I'm going to show you what this figure looks like with some of his accessories as well as other Marvel Legends figures. I've been singing the praises of this figure pretty much the whole video, and seriously, it is just an awesome figure. The things that I don't like about it are so minor that they may as well be non-existent. It's mostly that some of the black paint, mostly in the feet, is a little iffy, but it's so not noticeable that it doesn't really bug me. Yeah, it's just really great. I do wish maybe we got some of those symbiote weapon hands from the 2018 version with this guy, maybe a Cletus Cassidy head, because apparently the Cletus Cassidy head from the 2018 version does not fit super well on this body. I think it sits a little too high up, so maybe a different Cletus Cassidy head would have been cool. But great articulation, awesome sculpting with the black lines painted over there. It's just really good, and the muscles are really nicely done. Again, using a new body is awesome. The heads are awesome. The backpack is a little iffy. Again, I just wish that we had maybe some, you know, bendy wires in the tendrils. I don't know if I've said that yet, but eventually I would like for them to do bendy wire tendrils. That would be really cool. Other than that, this is just a solid figure. If you don't own a Carnage yet and you are thinking about getting the previous ones, honestly, go ahead and get this one unless you really want the 2018 version with the Cletus Cassidy head. This one is super solid, and I highly recommend it. I found it at Walmart for a little over 20 bucks. You could still pre-order it at Big Bad Toy Store or Amazon. That's where I originally pre-ordered it there. I'll leave links down in the description below where you can pre-order this. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends, and I will see you guys later.